All right. So, this tonight's it's a little bit of melding between week 1, week 2, plus adding information. So the topic is finding the feet, and it is about traveling, but it's also bridging officials looking at the offensive feet and the defensive feet, because those are two extremely important points for officials to look at, obviously. So, when an official receives a play and becomes on ball, what's the most important responsibility of the official when looking at the offense? The feet, right? So what's the most important thing to look at when you're an on-ball official for the defense?
Pivot foot.
Yes. Well, that's for offense. What about defense?
Feet.
Feet. So we're looking at legal guarding position, right? Well, I think I'm right.
Yes.
All right. So when we're looking at we're looking at the defense and we're looking at the offense, and we're one official on ball. Do we look at the offensive feet first, or do we look at the defensive feet first?
Offense.
Okay, we have one for offense. Anybody disagree?
No, that's correct.
Okay. I'm going to challenge you, however, to look at 4 feet instead of just 2. Because as a wise Paul Ferking once told me, that you're never going to get hurt if you pick up 4 feet first. Doesn't put the defense at a disadvantage if we miss a travel, because we're looking at the defense instead of the offense. Okay, so finding the feet. Last week we talked about the offensive side of finding the feet as it relates to legal guarding. Why is it important to find with a respect to offense, traveling, thus our topic. My job is to run through the traveling rule really quickly. Is there anyone who is unfamiliar with traveling? Thank you. That's how it should be.
I'm sorry. So, Kevin St. John, when is a travel a travel?
Is that a question?
Yeah, Kevin St. John, when is a travel a travel?
Sorry, I don't have my rule book in front of me, but when the pivot foot is lifted up and put back down before dribbling.
Okay. So that's when thanks, Kevin. So that's when a travel is a travel. I'm sorry for butting in, Jen.
That's okay. It's all right. This is a buddy system.
When I first started officiating, Jerry Gibbons, I don't know if you guys know him, but he always used to say, if it looks like a travel, it's not a travel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll know when a travel is a travel by, it just won't look funny. An ugly play is not illegal. Ugly footwork is not illegal, but when that person picks that pivot foot up and places it back on the floor, prior to releasing the ball for a shot or a pass, or putting the ball on the floor for a dribble, that is what we consider as changing pivots, which is a travel. So it's very important, as Jen started, it's very important for us to referee this entire game from the feet up, because the feet will tell us everything. The feet will tell us if the defender is established. The feet will tell us if the offensive player switched that foot and travel, or if the offensive player, was using proper footwork and just blew past them. Okay, go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anytime, jump in. So the main principles, first and foremost, at one of my camps that I went to out west, we were challenged to know what rule was where. So I don't want you to tell me all 11 rules, but can anyone tell me where I'm going to find something on travel? Without looking.
Sure, violations.
Okay, which is rule what?
4.
No.
Drop.
Definition.
Definition. And
Yep.
4.
So it's rule 9,
9.
violations.
Yep.
Just be aware that when we're talking to coaches and we're having conversations, we need to know where they are so we can quote them. So we're looking at Rule 9, Section 5, all about traveling. Okay. So it occurs when, as Kevin already said, both Kevins, it occurs when a player holding the ball moves a foot or both in any direction in excess of prescribed limits. So what are our prescribed limits? When a player catches the ball with both feet on the playing court, what can they do? So I catch the ball
Either
in the
foot.
air. Go ahead.
I was going to say either foot can be the pivot.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, what happens if a player catches a ball while moving or ends a dribble? They may stop and establish a pivot by what? So let's say both feet are off the court. They jump up, they gain the pass, they come down on both feet at the same time. What did we just say?
Just
Which
pick
can be the pivot foot?
Either one.
Either one.
Correct. What happens if I jump up and I land on my right foot, followed by my left foot? Is the right or
Then
the
your
left?
your right foot's the pivot.
Why?
That was the first one to land because you didn't land simultaneously with both.
Correct. All right, last one. I'm on one foot. I jump off that foot and I land with both. What can I do?
Shoot or pass, right?
Right, trick question. I can't move at all. Pass, or I can shoot, or I travel.
You can leave the floor to pass or shoot those from both feet.
That's
Correct.
true.
That
Right.
is correct. Okay. Let's go from when we have one foot on the playing court. So we have our right foot on the playing court. That is your pivot foot when the other foot touches in a step, right? So you're dribbling and you go for a jump stop, but it's not a simultaneous jump stop. Your right one then stops. So then your right is your pivot. The player jumps off that foot and lands with both. What can you do?
Shoot or pass.
Shoot or pass, that's it. Or travel.
That's it.
All right. After coming to a stop and establishing the pivot foot. So we're not dribbling, we've caught it, we got the ball. The pivot foot may be lifted. Like Paul Novak said, we can lift it, but we cannot return it to the court before the ball is released for a pass or a goal. The pivot foot may not be lifted before the ball is released. After coming to a stop when neither foot can be pivot, so we caught it on one foot and we've jumped, we're landing on both feet, I can do nothing. Paul said again, you can jump, but you cannot return. I emphasize these because these are the ones that are really quick and these are the ones that we get wrong. It is a travel when a player, let me repeat, it is a travel when a player falls to the playing court while holding the ball without maintaining a pivot foot. Question, does a pivot foot have to be a literal foot?
No.
No, right? So kids or ladies are diving to the court, girl gets possession, she's on her butt, her butt's her pivot. Okay, and then I have two questions to ponder. A1 attempts to catch the ball while running. A1 fumbles the ball and succeeds in securing it before it strikes the playing court. A1 then begins a dribble prior to lifting her pivot foot. Having taken several steps between the time A1 first touched the ball until catching it, the official rules is to travel. Correct? You don't have to answer now. Actually, not even gonna do the second one. Just that these two situations are on the Word file that I sent you guys. They are straight off the test. Be familiar. I also wanted to take a second to quote the famous Paul Ferking in our conversation this afternoon. Kevin, feel free to jump in too.
All right.
So I already stated picking up the 4 feet on the ball is not too much to expect if we have the correct angle. So as we talked about week 1, core coverage, primary coverage, move where you got to go to find 4 feet. It's mentioned that 95% of the time the defender is in legal guarding position when on the perimeter, therefore pick up the ball handler dribbler's feet immediately. Post-play travels can be 2 official plays, and we should all know this. When the lead has the competitive matchup in the post, they're going to have a really hard time picking up those feet. So then it's the responsibility for our engaged center and trails to pick up the pivot foot and to call the travel. Don't put the defender in a double jeopardy situation by not picking up a pivot foot. It's much better to call a travel than put a 5th foul on the best play.
And now they commit a foul and we get the foul. So, it's kind of like, that's what they mean with double jeopardy. You kind of like you're penalizing the defender twice because it's a travel call. And we could have had a great game going on, but now we got frustration, anger, and we got questions. So now that's like putting too much garlic, too much.
Wow. It's gone. Okay, travels we most miss are those when the ball is caught by a player off the court, catching a pass when the recipient is airborne and while moving. Because it happens so quickly, we're not picking up that pivot foot. So emphasize that rule, go back and look at again what is possible, and be very diligent about watching feet.
So the problem area with that also is mostly in the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
We miss, I think our accuracy level was maybe like 80%, like low 90% last year on travel. That's not really good, especially on the perimeter, because that means we're allowing, if we're missing the travel on the perimeter, we're allowing a shooter to get open, which will probably result in a 3-point play or a 3-pointer. We're allowing, that dribble, that ball handler to dribble past them, which can create something else, either a layup, a 3-point play, or another jump shot.
Or a harder decision to make when it comes to an RA play.
Exactly. So the perimeter travels are extremely important. And I know the supervisors that I work for, they are really sensitive about perimeter travels. Mm-hmm. They are really, really sensitive about that. And that's a hot topic. That's a an area of concern for the next season, just like it was for the last season. So it's important for us to find the feet. And I got about 12 plays where they happen really fast, but some of them we got right, some of them we got wrong.
And that's the thing, is I would say, I mean, travels seem easy in theory, but they're, in my humble opinion, they're one of the hardest calls to make because we are watching so much. It happens so quickly, and it's feet as opposed to a body. All right, last one, and then Kevin, you're up. Officials need to be better at reading an offense and anticipating where the next play or pass is, then being in the right place beforehand.
That's it.
So instead of always reading a defense and reacting to the defense, start being aware of plays beforehand, whether that's watching previous tape, whether that's recognizing when you've had a team before, pregame discussions, or if you're just really good about watching a team play and expecting where our perimeter players are going to go to receive a pass, or if our drives are coming from the right side as to opposed to the left side. Watch pregame warm-ups. We all know that they travel in pregame warm-ups. Identify who the offenders are.
Yep.
That's all I got. Any questions for me, guys? Expert travel callers.
Is each butt cheek considered a pivot?
Who asked that?
How did I know that was going to come from you?
Who asked that question?
Greg Gunnis.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah. No, it's not. It's
No, your butt is your butt in total.
right. It's your whole butt.
So yes, you can. Can you roll hip to hip? The hip to pivot. It's what you identify as your pivot. Anybody else?
No, it's very important. Just like we have to know what the defender can and cannot do once they establish legal guarding position, it's very important that we know what the ball handler dribbler can do, what they can and cannot do with their pivot feet. It's very, very important because there are going to be some plays where coaches are going to ask, did she travel? Well, they're not going to ask. They're going to say she traveled. Because coaches really don't know. They believe that if she picks her pivot foot up, it's a travel.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be equipped to know. We have to be equipped with the knowledge so that we can tell the coach, okay, yes, coach, she did pick it up, but it's not a travel until she puts it down. And they're going to argue you up and down again, but by rule, you are supported. And then you don't need to say anything else. But if you don't know what's allowed, how can you be out there making calls that you can't defend?
I mean, I would also piggyback on that a tiny bit is like being aware that her right foot is a pivot foot is not going to hurt you either. Because then you can say, Coach, her right foot was a pivot. And it's just, it gives the coach the confidence that you're paying attention, you're communicating, and you have knowledge to share. All right, Kevin, you're up.
All right, so everyone can see this play on the screen. All right, we talked about, missing travels. We talked about what they can and cannot do jumping off of 1 foot. So I need you guys to look at this play. We're going to play it full time. And I need you guys to pick up the pivot foot right away. All right? Here it is.
There's some sarcasm in there, but that's the foul trouble for Louisville to start this second half. The big one is Carter with 3 as she guards.
It's going to happen right in there.
May or may not have. Yeah, just leave it a little bit of room. Shepard will draw the bump, and
Travel or not, guys? Travel or not?
I'm gonna say no.
I thought it was right foot pivot and it came up before the move.
Right foot pivot.
The video came through for me choppy, so I didn't catch it.
Can you run it one more time, Kevin? All the way through.
All right, one more time, full speed. Then we'll go slow.
Might have been some sarcasm in there, but that's the foul trouble for Louisville to start this second half. The big one is Carter with 3 as she guards Jackie Young here. Yeah, just leaving a little bit of room. Shepard will draw the.
All right, what do we think?
Travel.
Travel?
Yep.
Travel. John Mariani.
Yeah.
Why is that a travel, sir?
Well, it was still choppy to me, Kev. Sorry. I saw 32 receive the ball and make the move with her left foot, but I didn't.
That's okay.
So,
That's okay. Don't
yeah.
worry. All right, so let's get somebody else. Who is this? 312. 220-202. 312-202. Who is that? Oh, there's Mario's play. Okay, no, Sierra. Sierra. No?
Yeah, that video is choppy. I'm sorry, I can't really see that.
Okay, don't worry about it. Who can see the video?
I did.
I saw.
Paul did.
Mario, tell me why that's a travel. Mario.
Mine was choppy as well, though.
What?
I mean, and it was slow motion.
Oh my gosh. Are y'all doing it?
I'm serious.
This second. Big one is
Okay,
Carter
anyway,
with
so
3 as she guards Jackie Young here. May or may not have. Just leave it
all right, stop. So now here we go, since it's choppy. She gets the ball in the post. She starts to dribble away. She takes 2 dribbles. She gathers. When she gathers,
He hops.
that's very important. We have to know what her pivot foot is when she has gathered. All right? So we have to deem that she's gathered the ball. To gather the ball means she's got both hands on the ball and she's discontinued her dribble. All right? Can a person travel if they're fumbling the ball?
No.
So we have to know that she has control of the ball and she's gathered when that foot is on the floor. Right here, I have Eric's permission to use this play. So right here, Eric deemed that this girl gathered and she has a right foot on the floor. That's her pivot. So now what is she allowed to do with that pivot foot?
Lift only.
Lift it up.
That's it.
Lift it up on the shot, and and that's it. And
That's it. So what does she do? She jumps off of that foot, turns, and lands on 2 feet. You guys got it?
yeah.
All right. So now I'm going to play it real time again. Watch how fast that happens.
That's the foul trouble for Louisville to start this second half. The big one is Carter with 3 as she guards Jackie Young here. May or may not have. Yeah, just leaving a little bit of room. Shepard will draw the bump, and
See how fast that happens, guys? That's how fast we have to pick that pivot foot up. Okay? So
I have a question here. Is it me, or do you think she actually picked up the right foot before she dribbled as well?
She did.
let's see.
She did.
Okay.
Because honestly, that's what I was looking at the first time.
Okay, but she catches it and she's got both feet on the ground. So now what can she do? Either foot can be her pivot. Correct?
Correct.
Either foot can be her pivot. So.
Not anymore, right there.
Right. Yeah, she traveled.
That right foot. So now that right foot is her pivot. Right? She picks it up. Ball hits the floor.
No, it came back down first.
Man, are you that good?
I am.
I'm not that good to get it like that. I would deem that simultaneous.
Okay.
I would deem that simultaneous because that's like really, really splitting hairs to me. I'm not that good to do.
Okay.
Plus, to be honest, if we were calling that right at that point, I wanted the coaches go crazy if we're calling it right at the beginning of her post move.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Especially because that right there, she doesn't gain an advantage from it. I mean, if you're splitting hairs and you're being extremely pure on the rule, you understand what I'm saying? That right, to call that travel is way too pure. Way too pure. All right. So now, right foot is her pivot. She puts it down. Right foot is her pivot again. Because right there she gathers, right? She has control of the ball in her hand. Her right foot is on the floor. She jumps up, right foot comes back down. That's a travel. It's a good call.
Yep.
Good call by Eric. All right, so here we go with another one. Where is it? I missed it right away. Here it is. Let's do this one. Okay. So now, you guys look at, you're going to play it right away, all right? Look at the score, the time. You guys got it?
Yep.
All right, here goes the play.
And a scrap for the rebound, won by Grays. DePaul, a second chance.
A nice hustle.
You guys want to see it again? Full speed, one more time.
And a scrap for the rebound, won by Grays. DePaul, a second chance.
Travel or no?
Travel.
Travel.
100%.
All right, let's see why that's a travel. And let's back it up with the rule. Okay, now, when Jen was breaking it down, Jen said that once a player catches the ball in the air and they land on 2 feet, what are they allowed to do, right? They land on 2 feet, they can pick 1 foot as a pivot, correct?
Correct.
That's true.
All right, when she catches this ball, boom, I deemed her right foot as her pivot foot when she gets control of it. Looking right at it, I deemed the right foot the pivot foot. And she switches to her left foot. You guys see that? Her right foot is on the ground when she catches. Now watch her right foot. It's the first foot back down before she moves.
Yes.
Ball is still in the air. Her pivot foot has moved 2 feet towards me. All right, and because of that, that allowed her, if that play keeps going, look at where she is with the defender.
Beat.
You see what I'm saying? So now, if we don't call that travel call out front, and that's still considered the perimeter, if we don't call this, and she gets beat, that's a wide open layup. So now, granted, the score is 0-0. It's 9:02 in the first period. Those are the calls. We have to be on top of travels right away because what that does, that lets everyone know that, hey, we're on top of travels tonight. That's not going to be allowed. You guys understand?
Yes.
So it's very important that we come out ready to referee, but we also have to find a pivot foot. So now Jen also talked about being able to find 4 feet. Usually in the perimeter, all right? So now, because that's not a competitive matchup, that girl is about 4 feet away from her, it's really easy to see if she's established. Has she established legal guarding position from back here?
Looks like she's got both.
Yeah, she has.
She has established.
Yeah, she has.
So now it's real easy for me to find the offensive player because that box is checked. The defender is good. So now you figure out, okay, why is she going to get beat? Is she going to get beat because is she going to challenge the jump shot? So now you go to the offensive player. Once you identify the defender is legal, You go to the offensive player and you think next play. So right here, when she gets the ball and I look at this defender, I'm thinking next play. The next play for me is either a jump shot from the corner because I know this player right here likes to shoot, or it's going to be a drive around her if she gets the pump fake. So I am prepared right now to referee her as a jump shot shooter and recognize and look for contact points. Contact points are the elbow, the wrist. Those are the things that, you know, someone challenging, they'll come across and they'll hit the elbow here or they'll hit the wrist, which will affect the shot. Correct?
Correct.
So right here, I'm doing my work early to referee the next play. The next play is either a jump shot or a drive-by. And what does she choose to do? She chooses to drive by. So now I have to make sure she drives by legally. And she didn't. Everybody understand?
Yes.
All right, we good on that one?
I would also make a comment about your positioning, Kevin. You didn't walk down as a center. You stayed because you had an angle. You didn't walk yourself out of it.
Right. Does everybody see that? So from one position, I was able to referee 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players.
That's right. And you got your hand up too.
Yeah, and I got my hand up. Hey, even a broke clock is right twice a day. Everybody got that? All right, so now let's show you guys one where we miss. Where is it? This one. All right, here we go. All right, look, guys, you see the score again, right? Score is 0-0.
Yeah.
First period, correct? Watch this play.
Both of these teams, they've got to feel how important this win is, knowing that James Madison is knocked off and the winner will not have to play the Dukes in the semifinals.
You guys want to see it again?
Yeah, this one's a little choppy, Kevin.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Both of these teams, they've got to feel how important this win is, knowing that James Madison is knocked off and the winner will not have to play the Dukes.
It's choppy for everyone?
Yeah, it seems like it kind of helps when you're like dragging it, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
Yeah,
drag
it's
this.
choppy.
All right, is it choppy now or no? Is that better?
I think it's better when you drag it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got a 0-0 game, 9:51 in the first period. All right. Now, I asked you guys a question. So now, all right, I'm in position. I'm refereeing 2 players. Is 12 in legal guarding position?
Yes.
12 is legal.
Yes.
All right. All right. She's legal and she's slow. So the offensive player goes right around her. I still got the right angle, but here's the thing. What can a player travel if they don't have control of the ball?
No.
No.
No. So the lesson I learned in this, because I got this play wrong, when the play goes away from you in our system, it's going to someone else. Now, if she traveled, which she didn't because she was bobbling the ball, if she traveled, the trail right here is moving right into position to call it if she travels. Because the play is curling away from me into that dual zone to where this trail official has a great look at it right in here. Okay? So when the play is going away from you, unless it's blatantly obvious, you're going to be wrong 98% of the time when you blow a whistle on a play going away from you, be it a foul or a violation. So that's the lesson learned. She didn't travel because she didn't have control of the ball. And that's impossible for you to do. She lost control right there. All right.
A question: Did you guys, seeing that it's so early in the game, did Trail and you have any discussion, or was that just a play that just totally got lost, but the coordinator or coach caught it?
No, I went to my trail and I said my fault. The first time out,
Okay.
I told them, I said, that was the wrong way to start this game. That's my fault.
And he had an opinion on it, obviously, since he didn't put his hand up and called the travel, or
But watch his body language. You tell me if he had an opinion. Watch what he does. Watch.
The dudes,
Mhm.
semifinal round.
What do you think?
No.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I don't think he liked that call.
Right.
All right. All right, here we go. No call incorrect. Here's another one. Here's another no call incorrect. All right.
Spot and knock it down. You want a playmaker like Kai English to be able to set the table, to draw defenders and kick out to those shooters. And so far, she's done a great job of that to this point in the game.
Did she travel?
Yeah.
How did she travel?
No.
How did she
I don't.
All right, let's go through it again. Is this one clear for you guys?
No.
Not clear? All right. Here we go. So now she gets the ball in the post. Boom. Now we got a legal defender here. Offensive player, she gets it. She swings, her right foot is her pivot. Nothing there. She gathers. Now, how does she gather? She gathers left, right, left. So her right foot is her pivot. All right, now let's watch her footwork. Her right foot is her pivot. Now, what is she allowed to do with her pivot foot?
Pick it up.
Step off of it.
But she can't put it back down, right?
Correct.
Right.
She lifts it. Her right foot is still in the air. Ball is really
No travel.
no travel. That's the step through move. That's why it's important to identify her pivot. And everybody yells, travel, travel, because they don't know. You guys understand that?
Can you play that one more
Yeah.
time?
Yes. One more time. You want it fast or you want it live or no?
Or just what you're doing?
Okay. So here it is. Steps. Pivot foot is her right. There it is. Step through. You guys got it?
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, here's another one. Here we go again, guys. You see the score. 4-0. 8 minutes in the first quarter.
That's an easy 2 for Emery.
Emery, who averages almost 19 points per game, that is third best in the league. Shoots 40% from the floor. Rogers got cut on the pitch. And then
Travel.
Travel.
Travel. Why is that?
When she gathered, what I could see from it, she like stutter stepped before she shot after she gathered.
Okay,
Unless it's that too choppy.
She gathers her pivot foot right now on her gather.
Yeah.
Her pivot
Right.
right now is this foot
There's
right
the left. Yeah.
That's her pivot foot. Okay? So now, on her spin, all she can do is lift that and shoot. On her spin, that's all she can do. Yes. Thank you. And she drags it.
Yeah.
Clear travel. Clear travel. So now, here we go. So now, let's start the whole play. We'll go through week 1, 2, and 3. All right? So this is the center's primary. That's week 1. Right? Week 2, the defender is legal. See how fast you can pick up if that defender has legal guarding position or not?
Mm-hmm.
So once it's established here that there's legal guarding position, I automatically go here. Especially, I'm repositioning at this point so that I have a look through the play. See? I changed, so now I can see through the play. You guys understand that? It's very important to position adjust because the game is going to keep moving.
Because if you would have stayed there, you could have then straight line on a drive.
Exactly. So
Right.
now, staying
Outside, inside view.
exactly. So now staying engaged with it, as the play moves, I still have an open look. But now I'm still there. I don't have to move because it's still open to me. And now I pick up the defender because she's still legal. She's allowed to do all of that, right? My lead is picking up this defender here, and she's going to help with this just in case she steps out of bounds or if she pushes, right? That's week 2. And now here's week 3. Find a pivot foot. Know what she can do and hit the whistle when it's illegal. Early on, 4-0. If we win 4-0 and 8 minutes in the first period, we are in for a long night. You guys understand that?
Do you think, Kevin, when you call travels earlier in a game, that players adjust?
Yes, they do. They do.
Does anybody out there want a game where you're calling 1,000 travels in a game? I'd say call it early.
Call it early, call it often. Call it early, call it often. All right, here's let's see, where's the other one? Where's the other one? Shucks. Gosh, there was another one I wanted to get. Okay, here. All right, is this one fuzzy for you guys? Yes or no? All right, here we go. I have this person's permission as well. Travel or no?
I didn't see anything.
Is it ugly?
Yeah.
It's up. Yeah.
Is ugly illegal?
Nope.
Nope.
Not illegal. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, now, first of all, whose primary is this? Trails
Right
primary.
now it's Trails. Yeah.
Trails primary. All right, so we got a pick up top. Pick is legal, but first, wait. We have a legally established defender, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Established, we have a pick. She doesn't use the pick. She's still legally established. Offensive player goes through it. It's still in the Trails primary, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Now, it's hard to see when she gathers. Okay, there's a dribble. She gathers. When she gathers, her left foot is her pivot. Right?
There.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Her left foot is her pivot. Whose primary is that?
Lead.
That's the lead's primary. Okay. Do you guys think the center has a good look at that?
Yeah, it's wide open.
Okay. The center has a good look. Okay, good. So left foot is her pivot. Right foot goes down, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Her pivot foot is in the air now.
Correct.
Correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Pivot foot still in the air. Still in the air. Ball's released. Pivot foot in the air.
Kevin, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
Okay. My thing about this, I think center does have a great open look. The only thing that concerns me is I'm not sure she can see status of the ball. And there's like two things that I've kind of figured out over my 8 years, which is nothing. But when you call a technical foul and when you call a travel, you have to know the status of the ball. Well, how do you feel her view? Do you feel her view allows her to see the status of the ball?
No, I personally don't. Because she thinks the girl picks up right there, when indeed she doesn't.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. She thinks she thought that the girl picked up and was 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what she thinks the girl picks up, right there. Oh.
And those are tricky plays for me to remember to stay off of, because you have that open look, but
Yeah.
you have no clue if the ball has been dislodged or anything. And so for me, I really try and stay away from violations at that point.
And that's a good thought, because if you can't see the entire play, then you don't have all of the information.
You don't want to guess.
So now her foot is in the air. She's getting ready to release, and the center is already made up in her mind that she's about to call a travel call. See her hand moving?
Mm-hmm.
She's already made up in her mind. Nope, she traveled. You see what I'm saying? Before it even happened. Now, travel calls, I mean, it's okay to be right on top of them, but if you're a half a second late, it's not going to kill anybody. I mean, the statutes of limitations. You can go in and beep, nope, she traveled. All right? There is a such thing as a secondary whistle, even on a travel call, if it's that egregious.
Right. Remember, it can be a two official play if it is that egregious.
If it's that egregious, go get it. Okay? But it's coming right at the lead. The lead had a great look at it. And you see, he didn't budge. It's just an ugly play. So this right here, nothing from this official right here. This official worked the Sweet 16 last year. Great official. But we all missed travel calls. For whatever reason, we all miss them. It's a tough call. That's why it's just tough. So if it looks like a travel, it's not travel. We have to definitely wait until it is a travel. All right, guys?
Yes.
I don't have it. Shoot, I don't have it. All right. Here's another one. Okay. Now, here we go. Fourth quarter. Still late in the game. All right. Here we go. Playing it live.
The veterans that don't always see and reap the benefits of the success, but it's a part of the foundation that they lay down.
All right. Here we go. So another complaint that coaches have. You see the score of the game, 81-58. Coaches usually complain that we stop calling calls. We stop refereeing because it's a blowout. And sometimes they're valid. Those excuses are valid. I mean, those gripes are valid. So we have to remember to referee, no matter if it's 81-58, if it's 81-0, we have to referee the same. All right. So now let's look at this play. All right. So ball's coming up. Stop. First, who's primary?
Trail.
Trail's primary. All right. Is the defender legal? Defender right here. Is she legal?
Yeah.
I'd say no.
No.
She's not legal.
Your
Not
left
yet?
foot down.
Okay. All right. So she's not legal, so we don't have to worry about her. So now we go to the offensive player. Where's her pivot foot?
Right foot.
Sure?
Yep.
Her right foot's on the floor now. Her right foot's still on the floor. So her right foot is her pivot foot. He brings it back and plants it again. Travel. You guys got it?
Yep.
Yep.
The benefits of the success, but it's a part of the foundation that they lay down. The veterans that
One more
don't
time.
always see and reap the benefits of the success, but it's a part of the foundation that they lay down.
You guys got it. It's very important that we pick up the pivot foot because those things happen really, really fast. Really, really fast. Let's see if we can get another one. All right. All right, here we go. So now, look at this. Second quarter. Look at the score. 26, 27. Now remind you, we had a travel call in the first half. I mean, in the first period, right? Very early, we had a travel call. Let's see this one. Let's see what's going on.
Possession. It'll work back. It'll work quickly with Jones. Cassell, rather, trying to.
Travel or no?
Yes.
Yes? Let's see why that was a travel. All right? So we go. She dribbles.
Yeah.
Gathers. When she gathers, what's her pivot foot?
Right foot.
Her right foot is her pivot foot. So we go right, left, right. You guys got it?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When you guys establish gather, if you can count 3 steps, then it's travel. If I get to 3, then it's travel. That's how I do it. And I've adopted that, and it's helped out tremendously that I've adopted, counting to 3.
Say that one more time, Kevin.
It's helped me out tremendously that I count to 3. Once I deem that she's gathered, then I just count to 3. She gathers. 1, 2, 3.
Got it.
You guys got that?
Yep.
Yeah, Kevin, let me got a question for you.
Okay.
As far as positioning at lead, one of the things I've been working on, when on the strong side at lead, and is being as wide as possible, like 1 to 1.5 steps outside the LDB mark.
Uh-huh.
So do you have any tips or anything on how to pick up good post travels from lead, as far as positioning?
Well, let's use this play. So now I'm a little tight. I shouldn't be that tight. I was anticipating them kicking the ball because this is their superstar right here. So I was anticipating the next play of her getting the pass from this player and then kicking it to her. That's what I was anticipating. So that's why I'm close down, almost getting ready to rotate. So when the ball gets ready to swing back to me, when it comes back this way,
you're stepping out.
I'm stepping back. The home base for your lead position should be here.
Yep.
Home base is here. All right? Here or here. So now anything in between that, I call that quicksand. And you know what happens when you stay in quicksand too long? You sink and you're in trouble. It's the exact same way at the lead position. Had I stayed right here when that play came to me, I would have been in trouble. There's no way I would have seen that.
Right.
So,
yeah, I thought you did a good job of backing out on that play, but I'm just saying, say you're in your position right now and the ball goes into the post right now.
Okay.
Talk about positioning for that, the best way to pick it up.
Well, that's why Jen said earlier that, post travel plays are two person, that's dual area.
Right.
Usually at the lead, you're not going to pick up a travel call, especially if they post up right here. And the defender is in front of you and the offensive player is there. You're not going to pick that up.
So look at the wide angle the trail has.
Right. Look at the trail. Look at
right.
I guarantee you, if I miss that travel call, the trail right there is going to call that. She's going to call that.
Right. And also the reason why is because you're kind of torso up looking for, contact that way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So even in that, you still have to find the feet and know what they can and cannot do. Because I checked the box with my defender. She's legal. She's good. So now I just got to make sure the offensive player is good, knowing what she can and cannot do. And don't penalize anything that's legal. Right? Where is it? South Carolina travel. Let's see. What's this one? All right, look at this. You see the play. Look at the time and the score. 6:22 in the first, 7-5 in the NCAA tournament. All right, we'll roll it fast. Okay, here we go. You ready? All right, let me roll it fast first. All right, here we go.
Now is what this team is taking on. They are very composed. They are very relaxed. And they just have a comfortable each day and are ready to
So, travel or no?
Yes.
How many times?
Yes.
How many times did she travel?
We got the last one when she jumped across the lane.
Okay. So, here we go. And I have Karen's permission to use this play. Just a disclaimer.
Can you make it full screen?
I probably can.
The green button in the yeah.
It is. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. Hey, I'm not a Trekkie like this. All right, so here we go. All right, so we got the pass to the wing. Now, what's her pivot foot? She got the ball, both feet on the floor. What's her pivot?
Either one.
Either one. So how about if she jumps up and puts them both down? So from this position,
That's a travel.
right here, what can she do from right here?
Take a
She
pivot.
can keep one foot down and take a pivot, right?
All right, so how about if she picks them both up, puts them back down?
Travel.
That's a travel, yeah.
Travels there. Now, let's look at positioning. The center has a great great look at that travel call. He didn't pick up the feet, and we talked about this play. She didn't pick up the feet of the offensive player because she was looking at the defender. You understand what I'm saying? She's so focused on the defender that she did not pick up the offensive player's feet. Okay? The trail, I can't help on that. The lead is getting ready to come over because he's got post action on the weak side, correct?
Right.
All right, so now as the player starts to curl back to the strong side, the lead's gonna back out again. He stops, now he backs out, back. Now she gathers. What's her pivot foot?
Right.
Right.
Right is her pivot foot. 1, 2, 3.
Second travel.
Got it? So she gathers. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So that's just what you got to do is talk to yourself, guys. 1, 2, 3. If you can get to 3 with the feet, then she traveled. Stop counting at 3. Don't go to 4, 5, and 6. Because if you don't blow your whistle at 3, somebody else is going to get 4, 5, and 6. All right? So you got it? So let's look at it again slow. Travel first, nothing. Pivot, 1, 2, 3. All right, guys?
Yes.
Yes? So we're cool on that? Now, Jen, how do I take this out of?
Hit escape.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Got it.
You know, one more, guys. Let's do one more. Oh boy, try to find one that I missed. Let's look at this one. All right. So here we go. Guys, see the score? See the time? First period, 18-7. All right, let's play it live.
Behind the arc, so smooth.
36%. That was a 130th three-point attempt. Leads Miami in three-point attempt.
Travel or no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Let's see why it was a travel. All right. So here comes the pass. We know that we identified the defender, right? Right? Okay. So my defender is coming up. Is she legally established?
No.
Is she legally established?
Now, yes.
Now she's legally established. So now I got to go to the offensive player. Next play is, because she's so wide open, I'm thinking right now, because I already know who's in my area. I already know who's in my area. So I don't wait to referee this play when she gets the ball. I'm already refereeing this play right now. Because one, I have to make sure that if there's a screen set right here on her to get up there to contest that shot, that it's legal. I already know I identified my defender. My defender is here. Okay? That's called doing your work early. You got to know where they're going to come from so that way nobody surprises you. All right? So the ball gets tossed up to her. She gets there. She's legal. Right? So now you establish the pivot. She gets the ball. Her pivot is what?
Left.
Her left foot. Still her left foot. Boom. Now it's her left foot. Now watch where it goes. Very slight movement left, but it still got up, got down, right? And when she moves it, that gives her leverage to get around that offensive player. But now, if I don't call that travel, but yet I call that hand check, I'm in trouble, right? I don't call it travel, but now I call it armbar. What do you think that say?
What was your
That coach right there is going to say, you let her travel to the armbar. You got to call the travel first.
Yep.
Right?
Good point.
So we have to, and that's what generally happens with us. That's what generally happens. When we miss a travel call, it usually results in a foul. And that's exactly what the coach tells you. If you call the travel first. All right, guys? So it's just very, very important that we pick up the feet. Very important that we pick up the feet. Now, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer, but just some quick housekeeping things before we get off the phone. Remember to check your dates. Continue to look back on your websites. See if you guys are getting games or not. If you are, assign those games. I know school just started, so a lot of you guys have gotten your kids' calendars. If there's something special that your children or that you have to go to as a parent, make sure you put that on your closed station. All right. What else? Oh, the testing should be coming up. If you guys have not paid and registered on the Arbiter, you guys need to do that immediately. Also, how many of you guys are on Facebook? Probably everybody.
Not a fan.
Well, we've been trying to share plays via text messaging, and it's really not working. So I have a Facebook page. It's called the Basics Officiating Group. And what I will do, if you guys have not liked it, get on there and like it. And what I'll do is I'll start submitting those plays on that website. I know a lot of you guys have already been on there. I know like Mario, Paul is on there. Who else is on there? I don't know, but if you're on Facebook, just go ahead and click on that, and we'll discuss our plays up there. We can discuss the plays on Facebook because the text message thing just is not working. Okay? All right, cool. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we covered week 1, week 2, and week 3? Because they all kind of combine now. So does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have something to add to the housekeeping.
Okay.
We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for the rule books. We can pull them up on PDF and print them out ourselves.
Exactly.
Just wanted to let everyone know if any of the newer officials weren't aware of that. You could pull it up from Arbiter.
Yeah, just make sure you're registered first, because
Right.
if you won't be able to access it if you're not registered, even if you worked last year.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody's taking care of that already.
Hopefully everyone is registered. We're not far away from the season, guys. So if you have not started your workout routine, you're probably a week late. So you need to get on that. Change your eating habits. You need to get on that. If you have not scheduled your physical, you probably should do that right away. All that stuff taken care of. Get all of your housekeeping stuff taken care of as soon as possible. Be on the lookout for background checks. Make sure everyone has taken care of the background check. What am I missing? I think that's it. I think that's it. Jen, what did I miss?
Well, right now we have a group of 35 people that are participating, whether it is on this, through individual text messaging, through calling. This is being built out of love and out of a love for the game. So because you guys are here, thank you, and it shows that you are diligent. If you know of other people that do want to join or in any fashion, please feel free to pass it along. I think that our plan is to continue this until the season starts. Also, for the test, my plan, Kevin's plan, because I'm telling you now, is everyone will be invited either to my house or to somewhere in the vicinity of everyone. You got to come with your test finished so we can go over it. That's to put faces to people that don't want to put faces on Zoom. It could be a basketball family. When something good happens to someone else, it happens to all of us. And vice versa. So, I think that's all I got.
That's pretty much all I got, y'all, for today. Next week, we're covering what, Jen?
Hold on, I can tell you.
Right, next week is something. Mario, I'm gonna put your play up there on the website first, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put that.
Mario needs all the help he can get.
Hey man, we all do.
They'll do.
We
He knows
all
I say that with love.
All right, so next week will be freedom of movement.
Yes.
All right, which is cool because that will be weeks 1, 2, 3 combined. So we can add all of that stuff together. Okay. And please, guys, feel free if you guys have any questions. You know, I please just ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid question or stupid people who ask questions. None of that. I don't believe all that here. Let's just make sure we get better together. And the only way we can do that is through dialogue and through sharing plays and stuff like that. The website, the Facebook page, once you become on there, it will allow you to share some stuff on there too. If you cannot share a play on there, then email the play to me and I will put it on the Facebook page so that everyone can see. Is that fair enough? Okay. I don't want to be the only one with plays up there. I don't. I see myself every day. I don't want to see myself on Facebook. I want to see somebody else's plays. I want to learn from one of you guys. I want to learn something you did right. I want to learn something you did wrong. I want to learn from your mistakes as well as learn from your successes. So we can all learn from one another. It's not just, you guys learn from me, because I'm all the way from being right where you guys are anyway. All right. So with that being said, Jen, you good?
Great.
Is Paul on the call?
Novak, I'm here. Novak is here.
Who is here?
Paul Novak, if that's who you're asking for.
Although you are very important, you Paul that I was talking about. Is Paul Ferking on the call?
I'm like Paul 2.0.
No, Brody is Paul 2.0.
All right. Well, Paul 2.0, give us something positive for the next week, man.
Getting the rule book, getting the case book, and I have if someone needs one, I have a PDF copy of the CCA manual. If you want it, just reach out to me, but I've been in that the last couple of days.
You can access the CCA manual on Arbiter though, too.
Yeah, I believe you can get it from the app. I don't know if you can get a PDF to take and print somewhere. So
no, just on the app.
if you want one, let me know. Send me an email. I'll send it back to you. But just getting the books, man. I'm trying to get those mechanics tight. That's what I'm working on.
Hey, find one thing to get better at every day. That's all you can do. Find one thing to get better at. I'm gonna work on my mechanics this week too. I'm gonna work on my mechanics this week. All right, guys. You guys have a great week. God bless. I'll see you guys. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks,
All
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.